we're leaving Talona Ridge in LJ, Georgia and headed to Kentucky.
We sold our house along with almost everything we owned, and we packed up the RV to live a lifestyle on the road. Now we're free from sticks and bricks and that old life we used to know. Come and join on our adventures, all the places that we'll go. And living in the RV is sublime. Destination Fulltime.
Where are we going, Jason?
We are going on the Bourbon Trail. We are going to check out the Bulleit Distillery and take a tour and do a tasting.
The Bulleit Distillery tour costs $25 a person, and you will learn things along the way, like there are more barrels of bourbon in the state of Kentucky than people and horses combined. That's pretty amazing.
You can see how high-tech the Bulleit Distillery is by the control room in the back, and you can see how bourbon is made. Corn, rye, and barley, but to be a bourbon you must be at least 51% corn.
In 2017, Bulleit celebrated its 30th anniversary with the opening of a new state-of-the-art distillery that you see here in Shelbyville, Kentucky.
This facility was constructed with a focus on sustainable practices including natural habitat protection, water conservation, and local ingredient sourcing. By law, a barrel can be used just one time to distill bourbon in the United States, despite the fact that these well-crafted barrels have a lifespan of up to 60 years.
So what happens to the used barrels? They are used for scotch, tequila, rum, and even craft beer. We are on our way to the Buffalo Trace Distillery, and we're going to have lunch at their Firehouse Sandwich Shop right on the same grounds as the distillery. Check out a tasting and see where the day takes us.
Yeah, I think the sandwich shop is like barbecue, I think, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I took a peek at the menu.
Right up our alley.
Yeah, we like our barbecue.
And we like Buffalo Trace.
That's true. So how can you go wrong? The distillery is about 30 minutes, 26 miles, I think, from where we're staying at Whispering Hills RV Park.
Yep.
Whispering Hills RV Park is really central to all the distilleries. I think they're all within about 30 minutes to an hour away. So easily able to drive to multiple different distilleries. And let me tell you, the Bourbon Trail is, I think it's like 30 different distilleries. Some of them I've never even heard of, and I thought I knew some things about bourbon, but I didn't know some of these brands even. So very interesting, and you could literally go to one every day for a month and to hit them all. So it's very interesting how many there are here in Kentucky.
We're not going to hit them all. We're just hitting a few of our favorites.
The Buffalo Trace Distillery is a massive compound, and they've been making bourbon for over 200 years.
The oldest continuously operating distillery in America also happens to have one of the largest families of homegrown bourbon brands in any industry.
The Buffalo Trace Distillery has been placed on the National Register of Historic Places. Here are just a few of the brands that they distill at this location.
$8,236,446 barrels have been filled since Prohibition by Buffalo Trace. The famous Buffalo Trace Tower is currently under renovation and covered with a tarp while they are working on it. As we walked the grounds of Buffalo Trace, there was no mistaking what they were producing there, based on the distinct smell of a distillery. This is Warehouse C. For more than 130 years, whiskey has come to age inside brick walls and the wooden rows of support in Warehouse C. Nearly 24,000 white oak barrels stretch deep into the darkness, stacked to the ceiling, and carefully placed to create a specific taste profile.
All right, so I think the thoughts of the Buffalo Trace Distillery would be the distillery is spot on. I would not recommend the sandwich shop. I think it was overpriced for what it was, and the barbecue wasn't all that great. Just my opinion, Julie's opinion. If you want to try it, try it.
Go for the bourbon.
Yeah, it is a bourbon place.
That's what they're known for.
Yeah, and even though all the sandwiches in the sandwich shop have some type of bourbon name to it, not the case. It's just wasn't overly impressed with it. But anyway, the bourbon tasting was very good. We got to try,
and it was free. The tasting is free. If you just do the tasting, it is absolutely free.
Yeah, if you don't want to do a tour because you've done other tours of distilleries, obviously all of them are slightly different, but the process of making is the process of making. We did not do the Buffalo Trace tour because we did one earlier in our stay here. We've heard that the Buffalo Trace is more old school than less modern than some of the other ones. So the one that we did at Bulleit was very modern, and this is much different. And you could even tell that just by looking at the facilities and stuff, buildings and
the history, and they're historical buildings as well.
Yeah, they are a national historical site, so that was pretty interesting. But yeah, definitely a great, I would definitely recommend the distillery itself.
And they have a phenomenal gift shop, and everything you could think of is in there for sure.
Yeah, you can buy most of their popular brands of, I would say, regular end bourbons and whatnot. You can't buy the high-end stuff that they have. At least I didn't see any of the high-end bourbons that they have, and I know they do have some that sell out fairly quick, and we were there in the afternoon, so maybe they had sold out earlier in the day, I don't know. But like, you can't get some of the real high-end expensive stuff at the gift store.
And they even give you a bourbon ball, and it's the bourbon balls made in this area, and the bourbon comes from them. And I can't remember the name of the place that makes it.
Yeah, it's a chocolate place, and they've been in business for 100 years, and I guess Buffalo Trace has been in business for 200 years or something along those lines. But
yeah, the history is really cool.
Anyway, a lot of history, so check it out. We were not disappointed.
So the bourbon balls that they give you a taste of at Buffalo Trace is made by Rebecca Ruth's Chocolates.
Yeah.
And that is the company that's been around for 100 years. We passed the place, so I remembered the name immediately, and we had to tell you because those are incredible.
They were good.
And living in the RV is sublime. Destination full time.